Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Kayfabe, and we are full reporting it tonight. Yes, it is the full report, and we are talking about the brand new NXT 2.0. It's all new thing, all new show, all new vibe, and we experienced it. I'm here with Adam Harris. I'm here with Rich Quick, who is returning to the House of Kayfabe. And also,
finally,
Barker is with us, so is Derek Jones, and the one and only Stephen P. New. And we are going to talk about all things NXT. So I will be the first to say that I don't always watch NXT. NXT sometimes completely eludes me. And that's because I keep a pretty busy schedule and don't always have time for NXT. And NXT hasn't always been the best thing on television. But when they said they're going to revamp the whole thing, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see what was going on. And I don't know exactly what I expected. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk to you guys, not about what you've seen tonight, but what you expected just by the promos that you were seeing each week building up to this. So I'll start with you, Derek Jones. What did you expect from the new NXT before we started watching tonight?
I felt like we were going to dive straight into like a Disney movie with all the colors and pop culture reference and the bubbly design and everything else.
So you loved it then?
I love the idea of it. It's right up my alley. That's why I'm referencing what it is. And it if we're only talking about what we expected and not what we've seen, that's fully what I expected.
All right, Stephen P. New, when you were looking at these promos going into this, what did you feel like this was going to be?
I didn't know, to be quite honest with you, because the promos weren't moving me, to see a multicolored design on a new NXT logo that looks an awfully lot like the AEW logo. It looks like an inverted AEW logo. AEW's, the colors are on the inside, surrounded by black. This one is an all white logo, colors on the outside. I didn't have much expectation, to be quite honest with you.
Rich Quick, going into this thing, how did you feel like this was going to go?
Thank you for acknowledging me. I honestly have not watched NXT for I have to get my mics in picture. Okay, I have not watched NXT for at least 6 months. I missed the entire carrying cross run of the old NXT. I thought the old NXT was good. I don't know why they wanted to change it, but I was open to the concept of maybe them changing things, and they definitely did.
They definitely did. Adam Harris, going into this thing, what were you expecting?
I made a few notes before the show even went on the air. I was like, okay, what can we expect? New colors and a new ring, right? Which we got. White ropes, white ring, apron and everything. I figured there was going to be a new entrance ramp, and man, it really was. It was much bigger, much more in-depth entrance ramp. I wondered if they were even going to say Capital Wrestling Corporation or Capital Wrestling Center, which is what they had been deeming the NXT arena since the pandemic. They didn't mention that at all. They didn't call it I don't know if they said NXT arena. I don't know. They didn't refer to it as anything. So maybe that's a hint that they might go on the road sometime. I wondered if there would be new commentary. I hoped there wouldn't be. And we got the same commentary that was previous. Wade Barrett, Beth Phoenix, and Vic Joseph. And then I wondered about the Samoa Joe and general manager Regal, right? I was wondering how is that going to carry over as well. We didn't see Samoa Joe, but William Regal played a role throughout the whole show, including the wedding at the end, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
All right, Barker, what did you expect going into this thing?
I mean, like everybody, I think I was worried, and I'm with Rich Quick and you. NXT is probably the last thing that I get to. It just feels like there's so much wrestling right now, and NXT is the last thing that I get to. When Walter or Walter's on there, I go out of my way because he's, in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world right now. I was worried because I did see the meme that Kevin Dunn was going to be in the crowd today to oversee the festivities, and I was afraid that all the bad things that we don't like from Raw and SmackDown, although SmackDown's probably the best wrestling show on TV right now. I know, Derek. I was afraid that the bad things that we don't like about those would show up in NXT. That was my main thing, because I think the best thing that Triple H has ever done in the business is what he's done with NXT. And the fact that, like, you know,
you always say something ridiculous that just throws your whole opinion down
the fact that the fact that such a big body guy like Triple H is,
like, and you're so
that's true.
And you cut these mean promos and you have all this stuff, and then you say something that's like,
I mean,
what the fuck did he just say?
I mean, like, you go watch a fucking another fake sledgehammer shot. But the fact that Triple H is, you know, a body guy, but like still has Pete Dunne and still has Tyler Bate, you know, that guy really does care about wrestling. So I was really worried that if they're taking this away from Triple H. Is that what we're seeing? They're taking NXT from Triple H?
Of course, one of the GOATs definitely thinks thinks highly of wrestling. Either way, the point is that NXT changed. I expected kind of what we got. Honestly, I was expecting what we got, and we might as well just go in to what we got. First thing that we got is to find out that Samoa Joe's injured, and Samoa Joe will not be the NXT champion. So we've got a new NXT champion that's going to be crowned tonight. We're going to see LA Knight versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne. Now that's the match that was originally announced, and for some reason we go straight into to meeting for the very first time Rex Steiner, and I'm excited. We're going to hear Rex Steiner, and we're going to talk about Rex Steiner. Rich Quick, go ahead. Tell me what you're wanting to say here.
Okay, yeah, okay. First and foremost, we cannot ignore NXT 2.0. That's the dumbest fucking name for anything.
How long are they going to stay with that, I wonder? Like, is it going to remain 2.0 forever?
But it's really not the 2.0, right? Like they had NXT. No, this is 3.0. But by the way, this is how out of date Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard are. That they can think that like 2.0. Matt Hardy was doing that shit 20 years ago.
Yep. And it's a very 2005 term.
Great point. Yeah, great point.
This is like a 2001 term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. It's just NXT. You know, it's like 2.0. Like, fuck off. I hate that. And that smacks of Bruce Pritchard to me.
This whole show is littered with things that I don't like about Bruce Pritchard. Even though I like Bruce Pritchard, I'm not a fan of Bruce Pritchard. I love listening to Bruce Pritchard tell old stories and all that good stuff. But when he tells those old stories, you get these little nuggets of corniness that he gets off on, and those little nuggets of corniness is what we've seen sprinkled all.
Oh, we'll get into that later.
But
because
first,
there is plenty of Bruce Pritchard corniness throughout this whole show.
I miss you so much, Rich Quick.
Let's talk about one right now. Here is a perfect example of Bruce Pritchard's corniness. Instead of getting Rex Steiner like we should have, Rex Steiner, the son of Rick Steiner, and it's a great name, and he looks like a mix between his uncle and his father. I mean, this guy, and he's dressed like Rick. I mean, he's doing a perfect Steiner line in the ring.
Move just like him.
But we'll get to that in a minute.
It was amazing.
We'll get to how good he was in the ring here in just a minute. But this guy now looks at us and makes sure that we know that his name is Braun Breaker.
You know,
Braun
Breaker? I don't even know her.
I just now. Okay, so, and we might as well go into the match. So, because I want to say this one part. You got Braun Breaker here, and Braun Breaker is going to have a match with LA Knight. Now, LA Knight is in the main event for the championship, but we're going to put him in the curtain jerk with Braun Breaker. Now I'm looking at this match and I'm looking at these two in the ring and I'm saying, okay, you've got Braun Breaker across the ring from LA Knight. What does this look like? This looks like when you're poor and you get the Dollar General version of wrestling toys and they have these generic ass names on them. I've got LA Knight here and Braun Breaker, and I'm gonna slam them together. That's what I got. That's what I got. I got the two of the shittiest names. You got a guy who came in.
You got wrestling figures from Maloney's,
right?
You didn't even get Hills.
Right.
You didn't even get Hills wrestling figures. Your ass got taken to Maloney's.
That's Magic Mark shit.
These are really dated references for anyone.
Does Derek know anything that we just said?
Yeah, get out of here.
Derek has no idea what Hills is.
He don't know what Hills is.
Either way, the point is you got two generic wrestling figures in the ring here, and you had a guy who came in here with a name like Eli Drake. That name, perfect for that guy. That name would have worked. And then you got a guy named Rex fucking Steiner, who is a second generation wrestler. Only the WWE can fuck this up. Only the WWE can fuck this up. And that's what we got.
When did they stop caring about that? Do you guys remember in 1996, a guy by the name of Dwayne Johnson came out as Rocky Maivia, the first ever third generation superstar.
Oh, yeah.
And what a big deal when Jim Ross and others were at the WWE. Randy Orton. Now, they've screwed up a lot of second and third generation superstars, as we've talked here a lot. The Hennig boy.
Now they're not even trying. They're like, hey,
and
there's a second generation superstar.
Exactly,
name him Dip Dingle and send him to the ring.
They just fired a guy named Wyndham Rotunda. Are you freaking kidding?
What a perfect
Are you
name.
freaking kidding me? But right now, you've got a clone. You've got a mixture of Rick and Scotty Steiner in their youths.
Yeah.
And a name that still carries weight to this day because everybody knows how great that the Steiner brothers were.
And I'm just thinking,
and you just taking crap all over that.
There is somebody collecting over $100,000 a year to come up with fucking stupid ass names like LA Knight and Braun fucking Breaker. If I was the guy signing their paychecks, I would feel like the biggest fucking dumbass in the world. And if I'm saying that to Vince McMahon, I'm sorry. I love Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is a fucking hero of mine. But what are you doing to the WWE? I don't go ahead.
Could that be a contractual issue where like they want to own the name Steiner?
That's what I was going to ask. What did he play football as?
Like it's one of those things where it's like
his real name.
You can be Rex Steiner, but we own the name Steiner.
Yeah, what's the real last name, Derek? It's Reichensteiner.
Rex Steiner.
Rex Steiner. RECHT. ST.
Very German.
He was he was a fullback
Steiner
at Kennesaw State, and I think he was like on the practice squad as a fullback. In
it doesn't
Baltimore
matter
Ravens.
if you own. Now, tell me this: we've got a lawyer in the room; he can give me the answer to this question. If you own the name Rex Steiner, that doesn't mean that you can go and make Scott Steiner stop using his name Steiner. He's been using it for years.
Everything about intellectual property use stems from first use.
Right.
So why didn't Cody not get to use Rhodes for a while? Is that not the same thing? Why didn't Cody not get to use Rhodes for a while?
Cody had never used Rhodes before.
Cody
had
used
never
it first
used
in WWE.
Yeah, his first time.
His first use was WWE, so he had to wait for a certain period of time.
Rick and Scott Steiner have been using Steiner for years. Even if they did trademark Rex Steiner, sure, they'd own Rex Steiner, but they wouldn't own Scott Steiner. They wouldn't own Rick Steiner. They wouldn't own any of that. So what would be
in which case all he does is change his first name.
And in the case of Rex Steiner or any second generation wrestler, maybe you shouldn't even worry about owning the name. Maybe you should just worry about pushing the talent. This guy, I mean, like Eli Drake. Okay, Eli Drake, you've got the best name ever and you don't want to give it to us. Okay, I get that. But you can still use it because it's awesome. And we're going to name you after a fucking light up shoe. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I just don't understand how people are getting paid to come up with these fucking terrible ideas constantly.
Well, it's been going on forever. What is the real famous Stone Cold Steve Austin name?
Chili
Chili
McFreeze.
Chili McFreeze. They've been doing this for decades. This isn't new.
Well, I'm sure that was fucking Bruce
Rich
Prichard.
Quick.
So he calls.
What? That's a great name.
Did you want to say something?
Oh, then I want. Oh, of course I do. Look, what were we talking about?
We're talking about
No, go ahead.
Hey,
Great.
Vince,
Go ahead.
stay on point.
We're talking about Braun Breaker and LA
No,
Knight.
okay. No, so what we were saying was that, yes, Trent Reznor has probably a copyright on Trent Reznor. You are Brian Reznor, which means it's okay. So, but Rex Steiner, I think in my little brain that his daddy said, you know what? They want to take the Steiner name from you and own that? Go be something else, because when they eventually release you a year from now, you can go be a Steiner on the Indies.
Derek, did he wrestle? Did he wrestle on Indies as Rex Steiner?
No.
No, he's
like
WWE developmental.
Is that the first match?
Yeah.
Was that his first match?
That's
No,
your,
I'm
that's
sure it
your
was his
first
first
televised match.
Yeah, that's
First
what
televised match.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Was that his first match?
No, his first televised match.
That's the one that counts.
No, it isn't, because obviously you see there's a lot more that count, because he's obviously wrestled a ton of matches because he looked awesome tonight.
Maybe not. He might be a Kurt
He's
Angle
a
guy, but just
wrestler.
takes it. He just takes to it like water. Because man, that match was fucking awesome.
What did you say, Quick?
I said he's a wrestler. He's an amateur wrestler. He knows how to work. It's Kurt Angle-ish. They were trying to do with him tonight what they did with John Cena,
Yeah, kind of.
right?
I kind of felt that too, yeah.
And this is what kind of pisses me off, and we may get into it later, we may not, but I'll say right now, why take the belt off Samoa Joe, this old guy, if you're only going to put it on another old guy that's going to put somebody over? So like they're building up this thing with him, and
Derek,
continue.
what do you think about what do you?
I'm going to get too hot.
Derek, what do you think about the Rex Steiner name and Braun Breaker?
Braun Breakers, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It truly is. It's the dumbest name I've ever. I would have rather him been called Chili McFreeze. But and you can fix this very simply. So you're going to build this guy. Obviously, they're going to build him based on this first match. He's going to get shot to the moon. One day, he just needs to come through the curtain. He needs to be anti-establishment, and he needs to go, you know what? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. My name is Rex freaking Steiner, and he will explode.
Yep, I agree with you, and that's really the only way to fix it. A couple more things I want to mention about this match before we move on is the fact that the announcer said he has a dog-faced gremlin mentality. You can't call him Rex Steiner, but you're going to give us that. I felt like that was like a little smack to the face to anybody who wanted to see something good happen with this.
Well, so let me jump in here and just say that, like, I didn't recognize him immediately, and I knew that Rick Steiner's son was in developmental, but I didn't realize that's who this was. And so Braun Breaker, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm writing that down. It's just like weird. It's too close to Braun Strowman. What is that? But as soon as I saw that Steiner line, I thought, holy crap, like, first of all, the gear is perfect. I see that Steiner line, and it was executed so perfectly. And then she said that, and I go, wow, Beth saw it too. And I think that's when I realized, from my friends that, oh, that's who this is. Okay. And so it makes a lot of sense. He's a natural.
That's what I was getting ready to say is, you're going to dress him like Rick. You're going to have him doing the Steiner line. You're going to say dog-faced gremlin mentality, but you're going to call him.
He did the perfect Scott Steiner belly to belly where he does that big step. Right. Perfect. Oh my God, it's perfect.
All of that. And you're going to call him Braun Breaker. And is Braun Breaker a rib toward Braun? Like, oh, we got rid of
because his real name is Bronson Wright Steiner. His real name is Bronson, I believe.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
If his real name's Bronson, I would have went with Bronson Steiner. That sounds even better than.
But they just got rid of Bronson Reed, and there's already a Bear.
Yeah, but they just got rid of Braun Strowman.
But isn't there a dude Carmelo now? Isn't there a dude Carmelo?
Oh, we're gonna get to Carmelo.
By the way,
did you guys like his Goldberg tattoo? because I did.
That was the worst part to me.
That was the worst part. That was so
I went,
gross.
oh no!
And
Talk
like
about
his little miniature
2005.
Brock.
No,
He
nothing.
used to date a girl with a
When they
Goldberg
said
tattoo.
Breaker, he went.
Nothing screams like bouncer at a club than that tattoo. It's so
Man,
awful.
bad.
It's so awful.
It's either that one or the Godsmack one. Those are the two bouncer tattoos.
The sun, yeah.
Yeah,
I know we're still
Godsmack
on the
sun.
opening segment, but I have to say, like, they opened with promos from all four guys, right? And it ended from the main event, and it ended with LA Knight. And so are we supposed to believe that Braun Breaker interrupts a promo from a man who is in the main event for the NXT Championship, and LA Knight just goes, you know what? I think we should have a match right now in the opening of this television program. Like, is that what we're supposed to think happened?
That's the last thing that I wanted to talk about this match was the fact that why the fuck was LA Knight even in it? It didn't even make any sense for him to be in it. It didn't make any sense for him to lose it. If you're trying to make us believe this guy's going to win the title later, why? The whole thing didn't make sense, and I hate it for LA Knight, and I hate it for Braun Breaker.
The way that you do that, this can be done. I've seen this done.
WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart.
Wrestling 40 years. LA Knight needed to send an underling out who got jobbed to Rex Steiner. LA Knight should have been like exactly what Adam Harris just said. This is beneath me. You are beneath me, son. But, why don't you go out and so-and-so here, fill in the blank, is going to show you the ropes, going to teach you a lesson. That's
what you're saying is they should have kept the Cameron Grimes story going so that he could have had a butler to go face that guy. And that would have made sense.
Not necessarily. But someone, that you show that LA Knight is above this crap, and you still get to show off your shiny new toy in Rex Steiner.
Could it have been more pragmatic than that? They just needed a grizzled veteran to go out and have the first TV match with him. Is that it?
I thought it was because LA Knight was going to lose, setting up the fact that he was going to win the belt at the end of the night. Like, there's no better story to tell.
That's WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart.
He loses the first match. Yeah, and Seth Rollins also lost to Randy Orton. And then cashed in later in the night and won the world title.
So before we get too deep into this, we should probably move on because we're going to talk about this in a little bit when we get to that match. But now we're going into a tag match. Briggs and Jensen, Bartel and Eichner. Imperium wins this match. I thought this was a really good match. I'm not really familiar with Briggs and Jensen. Derek, can you
They make excellent lawnmowers.
So Josh Briggs has been around since like 2016 or something. He's really heavy in Evolve and Beyond Wrestling. Big name on the indies. Now the Jensen kid, I'm not as familiar with. I don't know a whole lot about him. I can't speak to him too much. Josh Briggs, he's got a decent following on the indies. He's made towns. He's traveled the road. He's paid his dues. He deserves to be there. I hate the fact that when he got there, he cut his hair. He used to have long hair. He looked very menacing, very intimidating. He's a beast on the indies.
He looked like a job. Those guys look like job guys compared to the Imperium dudes.
Well, and then
are they
you have
trying
the
to
Creed
go
brothers
with some
coming up
redneck
later. So.
theme? And are there no true creative people in WWE who could come up with some kind of redneck type name? I mean, call them the Holler Boys or something. I mean, because you see from their logo, from their accents, all
their
of
music.
That.
I thought of Brooks and Dunn when I heard the music.
Oh God,
that's what they should. I mean, shit. With all the other names that they came up with tonight,
we'll call them the boot
they might as well call them
boot scooters.
Yeah, right. My name's Ronnie Kicks, and I'm Brooks Dunn.
These are the country boys, Ron and Don Country.
And you know what? The thing is, Vince McMahon, everyone always thinks about Vince McMahon as like, he is New York City. Vince McMahon's a fucking redneck that grew up in North Carolina in a trailer park. You know what I mean? Like, that dude there's some white trash in him. He was like a forgotten
but
son.
He makes fun of Southern people.
Yeah, I know. And I never understood. Was that like a self-hating thing?
Because that's his psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up that way. He wants to not be that. So therefore,
Biscuits
he
and
makes
gravy.
fun of Southern people.
Well, before we
Always
move
make
to the
fun of
next segment, I definitely want to say that Imperium, man, they work
Right.
together. Like, I mean, that tag team should be competing for the main belts on the main show.
Did you notice the bald guy? And I don't know the guys' names. There's just so many fucking wrestlers today.
You're talking
Fabian
about
Eichner and
Maybe an
Mark.
Eichner.
Did you
Yeah.
notice that he did the Kurt Angle flat on your back, jump up, go up to the top rope?
Yeah.
And just to watch someone else do it is proof of how great Kurt Angle is.
Good
Because
point.
Kurt Angle would do that in like a 0.5 second, and that dude's a super athlete. And he looked like he had concrete in his britches. Because we've seen it from Kurt Angle so much, it just proved like how fucking genius of a wrestler Kurt Angle was. And that's obviously he did that move as a homage, but it just shows like, wow, man, nobody's like Kurt Angle anymore.
You know, this was a decent match. Of course, Imperium wins, but what Stephen P. New said is that there's no creative people that can actually come up with a good redneck gimmick. Well, don't worry, Stephen P. New. On the other side of the coin, they really suck at urban gimmicks too, because Hit Row is the fakest bunch of shit I've ever seen in my life. AJ, or Top Dollar, as he's called, is corny as a motherfucker.
Ouch.
And I feel like the whole show vibe is centered around their gimmick now. Like all the beats and all the lighting and all that just kind of feels like Hit Row.
I wrote the same thing down, Brian, man. I wrote the same thing down. Like, this is because the opening theme to me sounded like, a hip
Hit
hop
Row.
thing that
Now-
sounded like Hit Row. Yeah, exactly.
Another thing I noticed about Hit Row now, when they were on their way to the ring, and before I say that, I'll say that AJ being on the Hidden Treasure show fucked his whole shit up. If you were trying to be this, I don't know if he's trying to do, I guess he's trying to do a Suge Knight type deal. If you're trying to be Suge Knight, you don't go and do the Hidden Treasure show. You can do one or the other. You can either be the fun-loving guy who doesn't understand negotiations on Hidden Treasures, or you
hang a motherfucker over a balcony.
Exactly. That's what Suge Knight does. You are the corniest gangster I've ever seen.
Yeah,
on
but come on,
television.
who would say no? I mean, hey, buddy, we want you to be on this show that's going to be on A&E that a lot of people will watch that have never watched wrestling ever before. So
Got to think about you. Got to think about your future, man.
Yeah.
And here's another thing is that when they're going to the ring, you've got Shantae Adonis. She is the rapper of the. Is that? You're shaking your head, Derek? Am I wrong?
Shantae is a guy.
Is the dude.
B-Fab is the girl.
Okay,
Is that the gray-haired Bianca Blair?
Sorry. So D-Fab. So D-Fab's the girl. She's coming to the ring.
Fab.
D.
B as in Bravo.
As in
Fab,
Brian.
like be fabulous.
B-Fab. Okay, wow. Okay, so that's how little I give a fuck about these guys. B-Fab.
This is the
comes
first
to
time
ring.
I saw her too. I don't know if
And-
she's been on TV before.
Well, she's never wrestled. This is her first
Okay.
wrestling match. She's going to come out. She's going to face the mass jobber girl, and she comes out to her own music where she has rapped this music. They have paid for this girl to go into a studio and rap over beats. That they've paid for this, and it sounds like shit. It sounds like the local rappers at a dive bar up rapping over their lyrics. It's terrible. And they're
So
gonna
you would have booked. So you would have booked her at Munchies. Is
I
that
was
what
about to
you're saying?
say.
on the right situation, maybe.
Resner knows what he's talking about when he
Yeah.
says
That's right.
dive bar with rappers rapping over a tape.
Dude, I know what I'm talking about, and I know
House
what
of
I'm saying tonight.
Kayfabe resident expert Brian Resner.
And I am sitting there thinking, man, this girl's on national TV doing this shit and not on a dive bar stage in the middle of nowhere. And it just really added to this whole thing of Hit Row just being a big
Low rent.
Oh man, it's so low rent.
But you know
so
what? It's
low
what
rent.
Bruce Pritchard and Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon think an urban team should be.
And
Man.
if you look at it, they're straight out of 2003. Like that looks like a rap group from 2003 that would have been hanging out with Trillville. Like would have been like the low card on a Trillville show.
Man, I was thinking about this today, and I've talked about this a lot with the way that the WWE has always booked black people. Besides the New Day, Has anyone ever not been that? Street Profits, Crime Time. I mean, it truly is. Well, okay, Bobby Lashley,
Ron Simmons.
Above. Yeah, Ron Simmons.
Ron Simmons.
Although,
yeah, Ron Simmons.
He was a thug at one point. I mean, him and Farouk.
Well, I was going to say the Nation was a play off the Nation of Islam. So it's like it's just these old boomer white people version of what they think the black people are, that they lock their door when they come near their car.
So you're saying that it doesn't work?
No, because not every goddamn black dude wants to be a fucking rapper. You know, there are black people in fucking law school, you know, but we never have none of those. Now they had David, what's his name? They did have
Tunga. No, I was trying to do a bit and you try to get into an argument.
Sorry.
What I'm trying to say is,
Lou, I know you've been gone for a while, but it's Rich. This is Barker and he bitches. This is what he does.
You can still count on Steve interrupting you. Yeah.
Is this my life now?
This is your life.
Well, sit the fuck back, Barker.
Yes, sir. Right.
So what I'm trying to say is, the joke's not gonna land now because you've already ruined it. But I'll go ahead and say it. So you're trying to say that old white men can't write for 20. That's back to Bruce Pritchard.
I said these specific ones can't.
He's an old white man who thinks he can write for 20-year-old black people.
Green Mile is an excellent book and movie, and that's written by Stephen King.
You're still talking.
Nothing to do
I'm still talking
with young urban people, Barker. Learn how to argue. Here's the thing. Give them creative freedom. Let them define what and who they are and what they're going to be on camera.
I don't know.
This all stems from trying to script all this crap.
You know what?
Exactly.
I feel like
when
AJ
you come into the office tomorrow, you have a group name, and like Dusty used to tell Jim Cornette, you got 3 minutes, baby. It's on you. And you turn them loose.
Get yourself over.
You know, I kind of feel like AJ Top Dollar has that kind of power because this feels like his personality. It feels like his personality sucks. I didn't like it on the Hidden Treasure show. I don't like it on NXT, and this whole thing stinks of what I don't like about him.
So I like AJ. I like the Hidden Treasure show. But while we're talking about old white men.
Wait, real quick. I like the show. I like Hidden Treasures, the show. I just don't like a grown man getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by the WWE to go around the country and show everybody he has no clue what a negotiation process even fucking is.
I think you overestimate his contract.
So
you don't think he's making $100,000?
You said hundreds of thousands.
Well, I'm saying he's making $100,000.
No, I don't think. I mean, he might make no, I don't think he makes $100,000.
Okay,
I'll say that. Go ahead,
Derek.
I definitely think he makes more than that because most of those guys start out at $500K. But since we're talking about old white guys, why do you have knights behind you? Suits of armor.
What is with the deal with the knights behind you?
Like it's killing me.
No, I mean, I'm in my basement. I mean, I could be like you all and have belts and shit, but you know, hey, best of luck to you.
We all have our
zombies
toys.
Come, like when the zombies come, what are you going to do, Derek Jones? Are you going to offer them like a nice 1985 Macho Man card?
Hit him with a plastic steel chair.
Yeah.
Or are you going to get in some motherfucking armor?
Get in a fucking suit and do work. That's where I'm at.
Gonna do the Alex Wright.
Nice.
Just like Shaggy, you're going to get in one of those suits of armor and wait for the Walking Dead to go right on past.
Can I offer you an 89 Widowmaker?
You bunch of fucking dorks.
So moving along on our show here, of course.
Are we passing up the Los Boricuas? Are we not going to talk about them?
Electra Lopez, man. I don't know if she's ever been on TV before, but she was impressive. I like a good Spanish promo. Yeah, I like a good Spanish promo, man. And she, what did she say?
You said a Spanish promez.
Yeah, Spanish promos. Elektra.
Spanish promo.
But again, Elektra Lopez, like straight from Marvel Comics, like Elektra Lopez, but she called her Muchachita.
Well, Electric was Greek.
Oh man, I don't know. I bought into this finally.
Oh, but I thought you
thought
loved
like a believable
Spanish
character.
promo, but you can't speak it, huh?
No, obviously
I
not.
like Mexican food, but I can't pronounce it.
Adam just points at the food at the menu when he goes to a Mexican restaurant. He doesn't try to order.
No hablo el promes.
No problem.
No, he's the son of a bitch who like acts like he can speak Spanish. At a,
So, Derek is our
burrito.
resident genius. Who is this group?
Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah.
Those guys. Yeah.
Los
That's all
Brickless?
right.
They've
And
been-
who's Electra Lopez?
I don't know.
I don't know if this was her
Not
first
Selena
night or
Del
not.
Renta.
I don't know who she is. I know nothing about her. I've never really looked into her too much. She doesn't look familiar to me. She may be, but I'm just not aware.
So
When
what?
she came out with that Carmen San Diego hat on, I was really hoping
Maybe
that
that's what I like so
might-
much about it.
that might be Selena De La Renta, but alas.
It was not. No, it was
No,
not.
it looked like Rebby Sky for a second, but the group you're talking about is, as Jim Cornette would say, Pablo Escobar and the Lucha Suits, if that helps you.
Pablo Escobar and the Lucha Suit. My question is, what's their issue with Hit Road? Do they have a rap album too? Are we going to see a rap battle?
There's going to be a dance off. You just know there's going to be a dance
Where
off.
does this
that's my
where
question.
does this come from?
Is this going to be a match? Is it going to be a dance off? Is it going to be a rap battle? Are what are we doing? Are we playing snaps like back in the day?
West Side
So mama
Story.
jokes?
The
I
beef.
want by God West Side Story.
I'm
to
gonna
break
live
out
in
right the middle of the
America.
ring.
So the beef stands from the same place that it would with us from another show that might have 6 people recording such things as we do. We don't, just because there's as many of you don't mean you do what we do.
All right, guys, update. Frankie Monet wrestled for the second time on NXT to face Elektra Lopez. This was back in June. So she's had a couple matches, apparently. Fans were not familiar with her opponent at that point, it says. So a rebranding 2.0 is working for Elektra Lopez so far.
Good for her.
Thank you, producer Adam. Very nice.
All right, so Damien Priest shows up here. They say they're looking for a priest for this big main event that they've got going on tonight, and
wasn't in the goddamn main event. Go ahead.
Yeah, Damien Priest shows up. He's not a part of our main event tonight, which is a wedding, but he is a priest, and he does show up and gets a slight pop from the NXT arena. Then Carmelo Hayes shows up with some documents, and I'm gonna let Derek take it here.
So Carmelo Hayes comes out. He's talking about his situation where he just won the NXT Breakout Tournament. He essentially has a contract that will give him an opportunity to face any champion of his choosing. Very Money in the Bank-esque, only it was a bracketed tournament rather than a ladder match. He has with him Trick Williams, who is also or formerly known as Matrick Belton. I couldn't find a whole lot about him. The only thing I know about the guy is he come from CZW. He did time at the CZW Academy. I think I read somewhere that he was a former football player. I've seen a little bit about him on Twitter, and that's the only reason I'm aware of him coming from CZW Academy. So he's going to be the muscle coming out. They're just essentially establishing themselves as a group, as a unit, going to find a way to turn Carmelo a heel. Yes, sir, Adam.
I like this. I was just going to say, I mean, I felt like this was strong. Carmelo Hayes was getting babyface reaction against Odyssey Jones. And there was even, dueling chants during that match, which is a tough situation. But in this promo, I thought this was expertly done because they had Trick help him basically denounce his previous persona and become a heel and talk about how it's hard to be humble. But speaking of Bruce Pritchard references, he's the Neil Diamond fan of this one. It's like, hey, you should say it's hard to be humble.
Yeah, another sprinkle of corniness from Pritchard. So I kind of checked out here for a little bit. So Derek, tell me where we're going from here.
So after the Carmelo Hayes, and he's not going to have a hard time being a heel. When he was Christian Casanova, he was a great heel on the Indies. He's going to fill this role way better than the people expect him to. He just has a very good following. So yes, he got the babyface pops when he was fighting in the breakout tournament.
So what belt do you see him challenging for?
I see him going straight after the U.S. title or the North American Championship. Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody else notice, like, when he came out, he got like a babyface pop, right? It was like, hey, he's the winner of the thing. And then he cut a classic heel promo, but the audience didn't know him. And I thought it was because I've been in that situation before where the audience doesn't know whether to boo or cheer you. And then he tried to establish himself as a heel, and the audience kind of like, yay! Like there was this like thing of like, I don't know, we don't know what we're supposed to do. Like it was just the whole like audience was like, I don't know whether we cheer you or boo you. I don't know.
They're trying to be like AEW.
I got it.
Like, I did get an
Let's
AEW
rewind
vibe
back
from
to
that.
about 1983. I've seen it before where a guy was a babyface one week, does something and has to come out and explain his actions or do something the next week. What do you do? If you're trying to get that reaction that Rich Quick is talking about, you talk about how stupid, ugly the audience is, how you hate where you are, how you're so much better than them. There are ways to immediately, now, maybe a lot of people don't know how to do it today, but there are ways to be a babyface one week and either do something or decide, I'm going to be more aggressive. I'm going to turn myself into a heel. And all you people here in this stupid arena, you suck, you're ugly, your mom sucks, da, 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 da.
Your mom sucks and your daddy swallows.
All right.
So you're saying that this is an instance of just like these young guys just don't know about how it was done back in the day, and what you just said, it's so easy. You just come out and you find out what is that in Jacksonville? You just come out and be like, the Jaguars suck, or you just come out and say Disney sucks, right? It's so easy, and it's these young kids, man. It's these fucking kids are on my lawn.
The pool
Come on,
sitting on the front row down here.
I mean,
Shut up, fat boy, or I'll come down there.
Yeah, you just made that lady. You just made that dude a heel in 2 sentences, and it's an example of just these are trainees, right? We're looking at trainees.
I thought it worked. I mean, he was cocky, but I mean, in this day and age, it is hard. If you're going to be like a cocky rap group, can be the baby faces, right? Just like we saw earlier.
They're not part of the rap. It's different black guys, Adam.
I'm saying earlier we had a group of hip hop guys who were.
The house of Kayfabe has been gentrified, folks.
That's not what I'm saying. Hey, I've had waitresses that can't say Tecate, okay? So I know what it's like.
Since you brought that up, since you brought the rap group up.
That's totally the same thing. Okay.
So what Rich said about the crowd not knowing what to do, I felt the same way during the Hit Row segment. During the Hit Row segment, they were, they're trying to pop themselves off as baby faces, and they're playing their music and they're dancing to it. And it just, when they panned around the arena, it was like 10% was actually getting down to this, and the rest of them were just like, what is going on?
They had to bring out the lucha suits in order to tell the audience that, because honestly, the same thing happened to me. I was like, is Hit Row like good guys?
Well, here's the thing.
I don't know. They didn't communicate that well enough until like when the lucha suits came out. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a corny thing, but I can't pronounce the name of the actual fucking team. Los
Briquas.
And
yeah. So they had to bring out the heels to show that, no, these guys are the baby faces.
Well, what Brian said is if they're trying to make him Suge Knight is a real true heel. How can you make a baby face out of like one of the all-time great bad guys in like the all music industry.
He's like the real life version of Kingpin. I mean,
Yes.
it just makes zero sense. So after this Carmelo Hayes situation, there was something else that happened. I was still checked out at this point. Derek Jones, fill me in.
So as Carmelo and Trick are leaving, Duke Hudson comes out, and that is actually who Carmelo beat in one of his matches during the tournament, and comes out. They have a few words, pushes him out of the way, goes straight to the ring, and this is where he truly establishes himself. Okay, he's a heel now. He's a little, torn back and forth. Trick gets him in the ring. They jump him. They beat him down. It's almost like he was going to have a match and then he didn't, which I don't understand. They should have actually had a match after that. And then you could have built that story of Duke Hudson and Carmelo Hayes. Duke gets the babyface pop. Carmelo is your heel now. But they completely just squashed and erased that. And then they move on to a women's tag match.
Or why not do the Duke Hudson beatdown, then have the guy get on the mic and do the promo that I just did, insulting the fans, talking about, and set up a match for next week.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anything to tie that together.
Yeah, I wrote down the crowd was still behind them even after they put the sneakers to poor Duke Hudson.
The sneaks. How hard is it to bury Orlando? That place sucks. That's so easy.
Derek, please.
So then you're moving on. You've got a women's tag match. You've got Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. We can keep talking about Carmelo not being a heel and being a heel, and we'll be here all night. So we're going to move on because I know Brian Resner's ready to move on because he's got something he wants to talk about after this women's tag match that was absolute garbage from the beginning and then continued to be garbage once it turned into a 6-woman tag match.
No, stop with that.
I knew Adam was going to love this.
This was a great match, dude.
I knew it.
This was a great match.
I knew it.
What was great about this match, because I totally just checked out and was sleeping for a solid 10 on it.
All right. So I like Casey Catanzaro and I like Caden Carter. Okay, they've been getting a nice push. They finally showed a little bit of aggression, which is hard, especially for like Casey, who is very small, very tiny. I don't have an easy time buying her punches, but she finally at least showed some aggression. They went into a rest hold. And so I think the exact purpose of this match was to show the rest hold so Kyle O'Reilly could get attacked in the backstage area by Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne. Yeah. So as soon as that was over,
why did that happen?
I guess we might have to work our way towards that. I'm trying to put this tag match over though for a moment.
All right.
Try your best. Then without
try hard.
Somehow out of nowhere, Saray runs out. It seemed totally random, although they referenced that, these two are no strangers to each other. So Saraya runs out. They go to a commercial. And without just putting Teddy Long out there, it was the most predictable 6-man tag match of all time that they set up because Mandy Rose came out and I thought they were going to reveal this, brand new character, but it was just dark hair. And I have not been super consistent on my NXT, but I did watch when the team of Gigi and
is this the Paramore looking chick?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So they lost to Casey and Caden, and Mandy Rose approaches them backstage and says, so if you want to get out of this, then you need to come with me. And I got the impression like she was about to glam them up. But here it is. They turned that around and like apparently have like totally punk rocked Mandy Rose, who's apparently now a brunette in punk rock now. So
they didn't punk rock. She has like a thing around her neck.
So here's the problem that I have with all of this.
JC Jane, who can work?
Jane, she can, and Priscilla Kelly or Gigi Dolan was the other.
She's a friend of mine, by the way.
So you have Mandy Rose, who is your star from the main roster, coming down to NXT to develop more, and they create a new character for her. And even at the commentary booth, they're trying to put her over. They always said, brunettes are better than blondes, and you have Beth Phoenix completely destroy everything that they tried to set up in one sentence. She said, I have a Hall of Fame ring that would say otherwise.
Wow.
Done. Mandy Rose is done.
Rough.
Everything they did was killed from that line.
I agree. They brought Mandy Rose to raise those kids up. And, Beth, I had some problems with Beth tonight too. They forced that wedding thing on her. Like she was all upset and like, that just seems like such a
No. We'll get to
Little
that.
thing.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Well,
get there.
but why are you making Mandy Rose's gimmick about her hair, the color of her hair?
What else?
That goes to what we've been talking about old boomer dudes, where they think a race is a gimmick and they think hair color is a gimmick. That's why Eva. What is Eva Marie's whole thing? Like, paint the world red. Her fucking hair's a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. It's fucking terrible.
No,
And when
I mean,
when Derek called Mandy Rose a star, I'd say, hold on, let's not. I don't know if I'd call her a star
No.
ever.
Well,
Gigi
she is the
Dolan-
main roster star. I mean, she is from the main roster, so she's a way higher caliber of popularity than anybody that she's in the
Nia
ring.
Jax is on the fucking main roster. It doesn't matter.
And if she came to NXT, she'd be a fucking star because she's big. I mean, she's a bigger star than everybody there. She's got more TV time. Right?
Can I talk a little
You're about
bit
to
more
make
about-
Steve New puke. He's
I
gonna
wanna
puke.
talk- He's
gonna
puke. Hold up 1 second. I want to say one thing while we're in this hiatus of the Steve McPuke moment, is that Gigi Dolan. What's up?
Is that the Paramore girl?
Yeah,
The
the redhead.
And Adam Harris, be
Okay,
honest, the
hold
reason
on.
why Adam Harris liked this match so much was the matching Spirit Halloween costumes that those two girls came out to the ring.
Adam likes wrestling with his heart, fellas. You got to remember that. Adam Harris is a heartfelt wrestling fan.
Look,
Uh-huh.
hey,
Rich quick.
this is the only match on the whole show that got a "This is awesome" chant. That's all I'm going to say. Whatever you want to say about the NXT
Boom.
universe, they earned it.
I'm still not convinced that those fans are not workers.
Dude, they didn't boo during the wedding. I know we're going to get to it, but they seem to be like all in on the wedding.
They
Quick
could
head.
leave Universe. Now think about this. Brian Resner is a freaking genius. They could leave their jobs at Disney and Universal, go right across town, and go to work for the WWE.
Yeah.
Right?
I,
They got a bunch of aspiring actors there, correct, Rich Quick?
Well, they're not aspiring actors because they're getting paid to do it. So therefore, they're professional actors. They're not aspiring. They've already done it. But since you gave me the floor, I'll go back and say that. Oh hell, I forgot. Never mind. Go ahead.
But I think Resner may be onto something here, where these could all be workers.
yeah.
So he's got so he has like a live flesh version of the Thunderdome.
Well, you
Even
remember
worse than that, they're being paid for their reactions. They were told in advance what to do.
Wait, but now during the pandemic, this was a real thing. They did have people in the crowd that were paid to be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's it could easily just played over.
Well,
and
and
That's
half of
how
those
they got
people
around it. You're right.
might be
That's
on this
how they
show.
got around it, was to
And
get to be able to have crowds.
Right.
You had to pay them, so then now they're part of the production.
and also
That's how SNL had crowds.
Also, Lucha Underground had a paid audience as well. Like the people that were in the audience at Lucha Underground were all actors as well. So in this match, what you were talking about with, go ahead, Rich.
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely remember because all I had to do was actually like look down. Okay, Gigi Dolan. Okay, this is with Rez. She looks. I like her. She looks like a bartender.
Bartender.
Honestly, but I could stop there. But she looks like a bartender that you would have hired. But
I would agree with
Okay.
that.
So
yeah.
where are you going with this, Rich? Come on.
So on
No, no,
this
no.
show, there's a
Hey,
bartender
hold
that
on.
Brian would have hired, and then there was a rap group that Brian would have hired.
Shout out to
hires
Munchies.
a lot of people. All right. But Brian and I had a band like 20 years ago.
Cynical.
Gigi Dolan would have been one of our fans. We had and I don't know which one of the people in the band would have tried to hook up with her, but
I was gonna say, are you saying that I would have slept with her if she would?
Is that where we're going?
No.
This is weird.
I don't know anything about the music you guys made, but you're underestimating the tastes of Gigi Dolan right now.
He used to
I
be
don't know. We
married
were
to
pretty
Darby Allen.
We were
What?
pretty good. But
The
let's get back-
Paramore chick?
let's go back into
That is out kicking his coverage.
I've
Holy
never heard that
shit.
before. So
I'm right,
Derek,
Derek?
Yeah.
We couldn't.
Told you she
100%.
was my friend.
Mandy Rose got the pin with a knee to the face, which for me was hard to buy after so many kicks to the face that we saw. It was like a kick to the face, a kick to the face. All of a sudden, a knee to the face just puts things away. But I will say, I thought this was my favorite match of the night, and it got a "This is awesome" chant. And to help with the transition, it went right into a "This is awful" part of the show.
So I am thrilled that they put on a match just for you, Adam Harris, because no one else gives a flying fuck about it. The thing that is important about this segment, though, the important thing is that Kyle O'Reilly is pulled out of this championship match, so he is not a part of the championship match anymore. And who's going to take his place? Some guy we've never seen, heard of, or anything else. Von Wagner.
Another unknown.
Yes, and Von Wagner, apparently, I didn't realize this because I was like, who is this guy and what the fuck's wrong with his face? And Derek reminded me that this is actually Wayne Bloom's son. If you don't know who Wayne Bloom is, Wayne Bloom was Bo Beverly. Yeah, it was Bo, right? Not Blake. Yeah. Blake was Mike Enos. Bo Beverly was Wayne Bloom, and Bo Beverly had a son, and there's something wrong with his face, but he's a wrestler now, and his name is Von Wagner, and all of a sudden he is thrown into the main event of the brand new show for the title, and I'm kind of floored by it. I don't give. I mean, normally I'm the guy who's like, he's a second generation superstar, but with this particular situation, I'm not like that. I don't think that he just deserves to be put in this main event like this. I don't think he was ready for it. I mean, obviously, by watching him in the ring, he was definitely not ready for it. But what was the purpose? And I'll start with you, Derek Jones, because you seem to have a more of a grasp on NXT than anybody else. What would be the purpose of putting this guy and his face in this match?
Heads and tails. They flipped the coin back before the show started to figure out if Braun or this cat was going to be in the main event, and he won. That's about it. Because he didn't deserve to be there. I
was going to say,
is this Parker Boudreaux?
No, Parker Boudreaux. When he comes out, he's going to look like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
light, but
and
Brock Lesnar.
They're changing his name again too.
Yeah, they're
going to name him Doug Dickel. That's his new name.
No, it's like Gunner.
These names do have like a feel that they just have like a box with like names in it, and you pick two.
It's called box of gimmicks.
Oh wait, no, his name's not Doug Dickel. That's the other guy. He's going to be Power Powerson. That's his name. Power Powerson is going to be his new name. It's going to be
Slammy McSlammerson.
Slammy McSlammerson's not debuting until WrestleMania.
Sammy Cement.
Yeah. So I'm still not sure what Drake's manager was even for, and why he needed a manager, or what his gimmick even is. I didn't even know he was back in NXT. I'm lost on Drake Maverick.
Why
He was
does
just on Raw last night.
why does Rockstar Spud still have a job? Why does he have a job? Is this so they can have their own Marco stunt? It makes no sense to me.
He has a job because he lost his job, and he like literally cried online until he got it back.
Right.
I mean, that's why he has a job. But I mean, he is a talented individual. I'm not going to say he's not talented. Rich Quick.
He's very talented. He was the perfect person to go against Ridge Holland. All right? Because he's a lovable babyface who always gets beat. That's his role. He knows his role in life. They pay him, I'm assuming, very well for his role in life. Some people don't get to be the champ. Some people get to be tossed around and put other people over. And who better to go against Ridge Holland, this great, huge English beast that is a star, a bona fide star.
He was one of the few people that
who
felt different
broke
tonight.
His legs like.
He was one of the few people tonight that came out and like had an air about them. I do feel about that.
A presence.
Yeah.
Well, something I noticed
He
about
had
him.
a presence.
Something I
He
noticed.
is a star.
Something I noticed about him is it feels like someone gave him a lot of tapes of the Brooklyn Brawler for mannerisms. He had Brooklyn Brawler mannerisms the entire time he was out there.
And the hat.
That's not a. I mean, I wasn't necessarily trying to.
And the Brooklyn Brawler hat.
He had the Brooklyn Brawler hat. He had the mannerisms too, like the shoulder thing and all that stuff. The way he was carrying himself, it was like someone was like, "Yo, watch Brooklyn Brawler. That's what we want you to do. Except for you're going to win."
That'd be British.
I bet it was Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, once again, Bruce Pritchard sprinkling his bullshit all over NXT.
Does anyone know why? Why did they do this? It seemed like, and I know we're going through the progress of the show, but like getting back to the whole thing, and I also think that the rebrand looks like a fucking 80s Trapper Keeper. It looks gaudy. It doesn't look good.
When you
say that like it's a bad thing, Marker.
I mean, well, we're trying to stay modern here.
Stephen P. News still carries a Trapper Keeper into court every fucking day.
That's so great. It's got like a unicorn on it. It's got a unicorn on it. But like, why did this
face?
So why did this happen? Triple H and Shawn Michaels seem to have been doing a fantastic job. One of the few things that like AEW nerds will fucking agree on is they like NXT, and there's no more bigger wrestling fan than AEW fans. It seemed like NXT was like, it wasn't broke. Why did they break it? Why did this happen?
Well, it was broke. Now let's not. I mean, yeah, okay. Just like earlier, you said something ridiculous about Triple H, and I corrected you. Well, this time you said something good about Triple H, and I've got to correct you. Triple H has done a good job developing talent, but as far as a show for the last year and a half, NXT has not been what it was when I fell in love with it. When I was all about NXT, it's been far from that for a while. So it has been broken and it did need fixed, but this is not a fix. And I can go into another example of how this is not a fix in this next match, because we've got two randoms that are going to take on the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius.
The Steiner brothers.
The Creed brothers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the Creed brothers, and they're Brutus and Julius, and I don't even know if Julius is the right name.
What is that faction? They're getting out of hand with factions too.
Diamond Mind.
Diamond Mind.
Diamond Mind.
It's kind of a cool concept, because you're talking about you're pressing diamonds out of these people. These people are coming in, they're working with Roddy Strong, and they're becoming awesome performers. And these guys were not bad. I'm not going to say they were bad wrestlers. They were just another victim of shitty name choices. What are we going to call these guys? I don't know. Call them the Nickelback brothers. No, let's go with Creed. It's like
the Hoobastank brothers.
Can we find a worse band than Nickelback? Yeah, call them the Creed brothers. So that's where we're at, is some stupid ass names. Yeah.
Well, if I may, I'll just jump in here and maybe praise some of the in-ring work, which you guys haven't been into so far. But I mean, these guys used their momentum as moves. Everything was athletically viable for me. They used every part of the ring, like they threw the guys off the ropes in ways. They used their own momentum to do these power moves. I mean, I know we said it's about the Steiner brothers, but man, it really gave me some of that feeling of just seeing like a purely athletic, dominant team. And they never even said the names of the opponents, right? Which we've all asked about job matches. Like, here it is, man.
Well, I do like a job match.
That is a great point that you made there, is that we were not really concerned about the in-ring. And one thing I'd like to say to that is, yes, the in-ring here was good. The in-ring has been good in a couple of things that I've been upset about. But the problem is when you wrap that good in-ring work in a big bow and put a big bow of bullshit on it and just wrap it in all of this shit, like stupid names, stupid ideas, stupid gimmicks, the whole thing, it's hard to appreciate anything when it's all packaged in such a shitty way.
Derek, were these guys shoot wrestlers? Derek, are they shoot wrestlers?
Yes, these guys are shoot wrestlers. That is Jacob and Drew Casper, and they are monsters on a match.
What are their names, Derek?
Jacob and Drew Casper with a K. They should have kept those names.
Should have.
These guys had a legit following as collegiate wrestlers. Like they were somebody.
They were awesome in the ring.
I mean, keep their real names for Pete's sake.
And if you want to continue to build factions in NXT,
Jake and Drew Casper.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Those are great wrestling names. But you know what? You can't own those, Vince.
Right.
You piece of crap. You can't own Jake and Drew Casper.
And they should have come out to the ring with Rex Steiner. And that should have been your Shooters Club as a faction.
Nice.
Very nice.
Because he did an angle slam.
They may get there. Get there.
At the end of this match, of course, we see the Creed brothers destroy these two jobbers, and Ivy Nile is introduced, and she looks
You are passing over the vignette, the incredibly terrible vignette of Tony D'Angelo.
Oh God, that's right. I'm from Chicago. Hey,
I'm from Chicago, but yet I went to school in Brooklyn.
I got family in this business.
Nobody from fucking Chicago talks like this. Hey, like I hated that gimmick, and I felt sorry for him. When I saw that, I went, "Oh God, I'm so sorry for you."
That was bad.
Tony D'Angelo, Derek.
I
must have missed.
I don't know.
He said he was a collegiate wrestler.
There was a vignette. There was a vignette of this dude who he smelled like he's like wearing, like, you know, like a gold chain and stuff. He's like, "Ew."
He was doing the Sopranos. He was doing the Sopranos thing, Derek.
He's a gangster.
I think his name was
in waste management.
Yeah, my family's in waste management.
Tony D'Angelo.
Management. You know, it's like I was like, I fucking hate you all.
Bring back the FBI.
So R.I.P. Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was awful.
That was awful.
But back to the introduction of Ivy Nile. I mean, I don't know what she looks like in the ring, but she looks incredible and looks like it's going to be pretty awesome.
She hasn't seen a carb since 2005, which
That's
I thought
a good
was the
line.
line of
That
the
was
night,
a
man.
good
That was the
line.
best line.
Yes.
What I didn't like about this was when Kushida comes out, and he is going to he's challenging the challenger, like the champion is coming out to challenge the challenger.
It was so dumb.
Was shitty. And then all of a sudden, the manager of the Diamond Mine is now a matchmaker. You got people doing jobs that are not their jobs. This guy, it's not Kushida's job to challenge challengers. It's not the manager's job to make matches. And the whole thing just kind of got muddied up.
Has anyone in this company ever watched a friggin' wrestling match before? Have the guys in the ring call Kushida out. I'm the best new guy on the block, and Kushida, if you're in the back, you get your butt out here, and I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to take that junior heavyweight championship off of you if it's the last thing that I do.
Well,
and then Kushida comes out and says, "Look, I don't back down from any challenge because I'm the champion, and you've got your match."
I want to see Roderick Strong really try to convince an audience that he's the new kid on the block. That's what I want.
He's not that much younger than I am.
Here's the thing. Like, I wrote down when Kushida came out and Roderick Strong, they did the thing. I went, the crowd goes mild.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
This dude,
Roderick Strong, as great as he is, has run his course. He cannot go any further in NXT.
You're absolutely right.
He needs to go to Ring of Honor.
Come on back, man. Ring of Honor needs you. Ring of Honor needs him. That's for sure.
I want to see Roddy stay with the WWE. I'd like to see him go to the main roster. I'd like to see
Dude, he'll be a job guy, man. He'll go to the main event.
I don't care.
Oh,
I don't care.
Vince McMahon will have him fucking cleaning the toilets.
Can nobody do this though? Seriously.
Yeah, it really all of these complaints that we have are all on
You
creative.
got a general manager there, right? Regal couldn't step out and make that match.
Right.
You were all Barker tonight. Everybody here except for Adam Harris is complaining about everything. I'm feeding on the energy. I love it.
It's all creative. It has nothing to do with this talent. The talent
in the ring is really good, as Adams pointed out.
Except for AJ.
Just like the Casper brothers, they're fantastic in ring.
Right, but they're packaged up in a big pile of shit. It's
Bruce Pritchard. If you guys like Bruce Pritchard, shame on you, because he sucks. He sucked his brother Love. He'll suck the day he takes his last breath.
Man, I gotta say, I liked Brother Love. I'm a Brother Love mark. I thought that was great.
From day one, he'll suck on his last.
Well, he's definitely sucking right now at writing creative shit because it's not creative, and I feel like he's just.
He's got a job in 2021 because he sucks ass. He will kiss the ass off of Vince McMahon. He's the numero uno Vince McMahon kiss my ass club. Always has been, always will be.
You could say that he's maybe the best worker in the fucking company. Because he worked his way right back into a job.
He'll tell Vince what he wants to hear and not the truth.
That dude was out on his ass and was a pariah and took a podcast and then was able to become second in command of wrestling.
I will say that I believe that the reason why he got his job back is because Vince McMahon finally started paying attention to that podcast and said, "Oh my God, Bruce Pritchard is talking about me unfiltered. I've got to give him a job to bring him back into the fold so that he stops doing that shit." That's exactly what he did, and that's why Something to Wrestle is not as good as it used to be. It's we've got a different filtered Bruce Pritchard. And so anyway, going into this main event, we could talk about that all day and how pissed off we are at creative, but let's talk about the main event. We're into the main event. It's LA Knight, Tommaso Ciampa, you got Pete Dunne, and then you've got Von Wagner and his face are in this match. And they're going to have.
I've never seen a forehead upset another human being the way that one has you, Red.
Man,
Brian really hates that guy's face.
Man, it was like a car wreck. I couldn't stop looking at it. I was thinking, okay, with all these stupid creative ideas that you guys have, you see this guy and you don't write Frankenstein. What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to
looks like Van Hammer and Edge had a baby.
Oh my God!
Don't do that to Edge. Don't do that to Edge.
Look, I love Edge.
Van Hammer vibes.
I was thinking more like Van Hammer and that kid from the Mask movie, not the one with Jim Carrey.
God damn! God damn, man, that's stiff.
I remember renting that on VHS.
Damn.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Eric Roberts.
It would be Eric
Brutal.
Eric Stones. That's it.
Your girlfriend at some point, and you don't like him.
Oh my
that's
God.
the type of heat that I'm getting.
I just I don't know. I just felt like it. I just felt like
you all think I'm brutal in our group chats. You all say that I'm brutal sometimes.
Reznor
I've never in 49 3/4 years of living called him one mask.
That's rough.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I just felt like if he won the title, that Cher was going to come out and celebrate with him.
Oh my God.
That's ratings, brother.
God, that is ratings. Okay,
I'm just going to throw all my notes away now. We're not going to say anything good about this, obviously.
Oh, man. Well, I want to say something good. I want to say that Eli Drake is a fucking star.
Oh.
He might be the best talker on the whole program, on both or all three programs. He is this weird
wrestler too.
Man, and dude, he's what, 38ish, 9ish? He's older, right? He's up there.
He's
I
in
think
great shape.
Easy
I know,
now.
and I'm saying, no, dude, I'm older than everybody here except for fucking whoever. See how I did there? He's the best talker. He's this crazy combination of The Rock and Stone Cold, and he does it well. He stole both of their mannerisms, and he does it beautifully. When he was on NWA, man, I was in love. I thought this was one of the best things, except for Nick Aldis was on there. This is one of the greatest guys because I wasn't really aware of him before NWA, and I was like, this guy's a fucking star. He comes out and talks shit like a real dude that's punched a motherfucker in the mouth, and he looks like a dude that will punch you in the mouth. Why is Eli Drake not fucking wrestling Roman Reigns right now? That's where I'm at.
I don't know, but I got introduced to Eli Drake in Impact, and I literally from the first time I seen him, I was like, this guy is the next big thing. In my opinion, he is still a bigger talent than MJF. And MJF is considered the next big heel in the world.
But he's also got about 15 years on him.
He may have 15 years on him, but either way, I think that Eli Drake, I just hate the name they gave it. It's like they shot him in the foot right at the gate. They're like, oh, you're going to be a star. Bang, shoot you right in the foot and give you the worst name ever. Let's send you to the ring fucking named after a shoe and hope it works out. And that's
Adam, what did you think of this? You've been keeping us on task with in-ring ability tonight.
This was a great worked match, except for Mask.
I thought so too, man. I mean, I wrote down at 9:35 when the bell rang, I thought Wagner is here to take the pin. I thought that was the whole thing. Yeah. Like, even though it's his first match, like nobody else here should take a pin. When it's his first match, you can put him over, give him a strong performance. And if he loses this match, it might be a star maker position, right? Like he might be able to take this and come out on top, even though he takes the loss. But that's not what they did. They pinned LA Knight for a second time, which didn't make a lot of sense to me because we're talking about how great he is, how over he is. That just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The top rope superplex by him was fantastic. And it was, and then I do want to say that one thing I thought was well done, and you guys might be able to correct me. Usually on an episode of NXT, you see a dive, like in the first match, there'll be one a couple times for a commercial break. And then in the main event, there might be a couple dives. In this match, in this whole episode, I don't think we saw a dive until Tommaso Ciampa did it. And then he raised up and like looked at the title. And at that moment, I thought, ooh, this is going to be good. Because earlier he said it's been 900 days since I held the title. And that was such a nice setup. And I think it's a smart move to put the belt on Ciampa.
Well, he needed it, right? I mean, he only vacated it because he was on his like 17th injury, right?
And he might lose it, 2 weeks from now. Who knows? But they had the thing at the end, which we'll get to. I'm sure.
I've got a question that Derek will have the answer to. Is Fat Joe? Is Samoa Joe hurt? Is Samoa Fat Joe? Because you were talking about that fucking fight with Jaw Rule. Is Samoa
It's got to be
Joe,
a work.
That's a work, right? He's not hurt.
I don't know.
I've heard a lot of contradictory things on that. I don't think they would have played it like they did if he was working. I don't think they would have had him come out and cut a video and put it on Twitter and everything else of him saying he's going to drop the title. I think it would have been he's just going to fade off into the distance for a little while, come back. I don't know if you've ever heard this term before, young champion, but it's interim. I'm the real champion, something like that. But I think he's shoot.
So your best guess is it's another unfortunate shoot. And man, isn't it just let's give him some love, man. Samoa Joe will just go down as someone who just missed it. He's so good. That Kurt Angle match in fucking Impact, it could be a top 10 match of all time. And he finally got to the dance and he just kept getting hurt, man. That's a fucking bummer.
To be honest with you, he's got like 10 matches in Impact that could be one of the greatest matches of all time. Like he's really a part of some really amazing stuff.
And Ring of Honor too. Like it's 5 at least in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. One thing to add to what you were saying, Derek, about this being a shoot injury is I really believe that because of the way that things played out here tonight. They obviously did not want to take the belt off Samoa Joe, and they obviously had no idea what they were going to do. It was obviously a scramble situation. So if you look at it, there's no way they would have put themselves in a scramble if Joe wasn't, if he wasn't hurt. So that's my thought on it, at least. I know that
I'm sorry, Brian. When did they announce the 4-way?
They announced the 4-way at the beginning. Well, actually, they announced it before NXT actually went on the air.
They knew it was going to be the theme of the new episode, which I don't know.
I talking about
thought
that
it was like a tweet or a WWE.com release at like 6:30 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't like right after Takeout.
That Samoa Joe was releasing the title, or that it was going to be a 4-way.
The 4-way match for new NXT champion.
Yeah, I think that happened today, and the announcement that Joe was dropping the title was yesterday. So,
I think they organized it to make it look scrambled.
Maybe
like, it promises a new beginning.
Me, if you're right, and there is there's not really an injury with Samoa Joe, then I don't understand why they would take it off, I guess, except for to have that new beginning thing. But is it really a new beginning when you put the belt on Tommaso Ciampa?
It's another veteran, right?
It would have been a new beginning if you'd have put it on LA Knight. But when I look at this match, I see two options. If I'm calling the shot here, I'm either going to pick LA Knight or I'm going to pick Tommaso Ciampa, because the Goldie relationship, the relationship between Tommaso Ciampa and the championship is a gimmick all in itself and a draw all in itself. Mm-hmm. And Tommaso Ciampa as the champion is there. You can't go wrong with that. So I feel like they did make a good decision, even though they pinned LA Knight twice for no fucking reason.
Is he on his way out? Maybe is he getting called up?
Who did he honk off this week?
Yeah,
he may be.
I have this.
Who did he piss off?
He might be going up. He might be going up. He might just did the job on the way out. Hopefully, we may see him. They're getting ready to have the draft.
I know what they're doing. You just said they might be calling him up. I bet you anything they're trying to find a dumber name for him for the main roster. They're gonna call him Chuck Taylor All-Stars this time.
No, the only reason they went with that is because it was still 3
Breaker.
syllables.
Oh, shit, they already took that.
LA Knight is the same as Eli Drake. It'll be something like that if they change it again. That's the only reason they went with LA Knight.
Dumb. Doo-dah-dumb is coming to
Doo-dah
the
Day.
His name is going to be Adidas Turtle Shell. It's going to be his name.
There you go. Adidas
It's
Turtle
3
Shell.
syllables, guys. Come on.
But man, this was a great match. He did a great job. I love Pete Dunne. He's one of the few very, very small guys that I believe he is able to, with all of that finger manipulation stuff. I believe this guy, and he is very, very small. And again, getting back to putting over old fucking fake sledgehammer guy, he made sure that he got Pete Dunne, and Derek told us about this. He made sure that Pete Dunne got a contract before Doofus and Dumbass came in and took over NXT, and that's to his credit, man. And you would never think, because he's part of the clique, and we like body guys except for fucking X-Pac, but we only like X-Pac because we like watching him be stupid when he's drunk.
Shawn Michaels is not a body guy.
Man, Shawn Michaels is always in great shape. That guy's
He's not a body guy.
Well, I mean, he's fucking shredded. You know what I mean? He's shredded. X-Pac was never. He was always shredded, man.
X-Pac. Have you seen X-Pac recently?
With the big gray beard?
I saw a picture of him the other day, and he looked incredible.
Hey, man, it's easy to look incredible when you ain't got that wellness program over your fucking shoulder, guy.
I bet he's been talking to Tony Khan.
Get them Mexican steroids or Mexican vitamins there. That's good shit. But anyway, get back to match. Trying to do Adam's job here. This is a fucking great match, man. Tommaso Ciampa. It had to be him or LA Knight. I think that Eli Drake is probably going to go up to the main roster. I think they jobbed him out twice. They give him the big old rub on this young kid who's got to be a star. Like somebody said it, Rex Steiner. Whatever, fucking Braun Bronheimer. He made Vince come tonight. That's his kind of guy. That's a Brock Lesnar type. You know what I mean? That's a Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar type.
Derek, what did you think of the main event going into this Rex Steiner handshake with Tommaso Ciampa?
So the finish was wrong. I love Tommaso Ciampa, but Brian said it. The relationship between Tommaso Ciampa and Goldie is a gimmick within itself that draws people in, but it's only a gimmick if there's a chase. If he has Goldie, then it's just like, oh, okay, he won.
Tell me LA Knight and Tommaso Ciampa would not have been the best match to Ignite for going forward. You know, having LA Knight winning that belt and having Tommaso Ciampa chasing him would have been awesome. But you're saying no.
What's the finish of that? An LA Knight roll up of Ciampa.
So,
1, 2, 3.
I would say you would have Ciampa and Pete Dunne get into it on the outside of the ring, and Eli Drake get the pin on the horseface guy.
Or somebody else puts the finisher on Wagner, and LA Knight sneaks in, throws him out, gets the win. You know, like
Ooh, I love that
he's been
finish.
pinned. You know, like those are all good options.
But you're saying something else should happen, Derek Jones. What are you saying should have happened?
So here's the match. Here's the end of the match. So yes, LA Knight and Tommaso Ciampa is the match we want to see later on. So they should have been on the interaction on the outside of the ring, and Pete Dunne should have been the smart individual to get the roll up on the rookie in the ring to become the champion to move on. LA Knight and Tommaso have their match before LA Knight goes up. Because, hey, I could have won that had it not been for you. I could have won it had it not been for you. Move on, you know, and Tommaso could have.
Then you got a world champion, Pete Dunne, who can barely cut a promo.
Yeah, he can't talk. That's for damn sure.
Well, but here's the thing. I think to Derek's point, if LA Knight's going up, why are you going to put the belt on him?
Yeah, I think that's why he jobbed. I think he's on his way. I think they need some blood. They need some new blood up there.
So
might be.
Pete Dunne's. It's not. He's held titles before,
but he's never held the title.
He was UK champion.
Yeah,
which is different. He was UK champion,
North American champion, and he was just fine.
And he's over, man. Pete Dunne is one of the more over cats in NXT.
No shortage of mouthpieces. I mean, that seems to be their thing. You know, they can find somebody to put him with if they had to. But to me, he's just a believable babyface all by himself. Can I throw out a question here? I would love to hear Derek's answer first, but to the group, is there any situation where it makes sense to go with O'Reilly here? Because when the opening promos were coming, and I'll say one other thing, first face we saw after the intro was Ciampa. Okay, so that was one little hint that he might be going over. But the only really clear babyface to me in this match was O'Reilly. And so to me is an immediate possibility, right? So Derek Jones.
Not to mention, before Derek Jones answers this, not to mention Kyle O'Reilly just got a victory over the second greatest NXT champion of all time.
Yep.
First being Bo Dallas.
Is there any situation where we go with O'Reilly?
So there probably is, and they haven't talked about it a whole lot, and I almost feel like they're keeping it under wraps a little bit, but I think O'Reilly's hurt.
It's very possible.
Oh, okay. Shit.
I wouldn't have pulled him out of that match if he wasn't. So I mean, but who knows?
That's good.
I think he's been working hurt for a little while, but I think this was one of those situations they didn't need him and they can ice him for a little bit and let him heal.
They might actually be repackaging him as Fanny McClanahan too. You never know what's going to happen.
Fanny McClanahan.
Johnny Zubaz.
Oh, there's got to be an indie wrestler named Johnny Zubaz. Holy shit.
What's Matt Mullen's grandma's name?
Partheni Brown.
Partheni Brown. There's the name that needs to get.
Partheni Brown.
Partheni Brown would be a way better name for Eli Drake.
Partheni Brown would be a good name for Brooks and Dunn earlier. That would be a good redneck name for whoever Brooks and Dunn was earlier.
It'd be Partheni and Brown.
Yeah, Partheni and Brown, son.
That sounds like
chewing tobacco, spitting on the way in.
Sounds way better than the tag team, the Creed brothers. So
fucking give them a pill bottle. Let's fucking we'll do it. Do it right.
So we never got to answer the question.
Eric.
Kyle O'Reilly. Did we talk about it?
Yeah, he just said that he was the one that was smart about it.
I think he's working hurt, like I said. But I think Kyle O'Reilly's a great choice for that position.
So, going with Kyle O'Reilly, would that be too Ring of Honor-y for a 2.0 type approach? Like, if they're going to go a new place, maybe going with Kyle O'Reilly is not the place to go. But, it seemed like a possibility to me because he was the only true babyface going into the match.
If that's the case, they wouldn't have went with Tommaso Ciampa. They wouldn't have gave the belt to Adam Cole for so long. Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins was world champion in NXT, or a heavyweight title holder in NXT. NXT is the place that ROH goes to win belts.
And he's like the last man standing, sort of like
Roddy Strong.
Roddy Strong.
Because Bobby Fish is gone too, right?
Yeah, Bobby's out.
Yep.
Ah, man. Well, okay, here's a question I posit to everybody. Who did we watch tonight that we feel will be pushed once they go to the main roster? We know it ain't Pete Dunne.
I don't even want to say this guy's name again because it's so fucking terrible. But Braun Breaker
and L.A. Knight.
Oh, L.A. Knight, of course.
And Braun Breaker will be a long time though, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, I think so.
Quick.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who gets called to the main roster. They're going to screw them up. Like, so yeah, L.A. Knight should have won the belt tonight.
Hopefully we're going to see him on SmackDown. I hope he gets drafted to SmackDown.
No, I hope he does not. I hope he does not. Because, look, he got beat twice. He'll probably get moved up. But what does that mean when he gets moved up? He just got beat twice. He's going to lose. He's going to be a jobber, a mid-card guy. L.A. Knight, no. Eli Drake deserves better than anything than NXT, WWE can offer him. I feel sorry for Eli Drake. L.A. Knight is going to get a good paycheck,
but
how going to be anybody?
How good would it feel to see L.A. Knight come out and I'm not even a fan. Like, Brian is trying to push Eli Drake on me for a long time, and I'm not really a fan. I'm not. I don't hate him. I just don't like him. But how good would it feel? And here's to show the respect that I have for the man and his abilities and his previous work. How good would it feel to see him on SmackDown face to face with Roman Reigns? Roman cut a promo of something stupid, and you just hear him go, "Yeah, dummy."
Yes.
And just be done and walk away.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want the dummy stuff back. I want my Eli Drake from Impact back.
No, I want Eli Drake to walk out, to walk out on Raw or SmackDown or wherever, and just stop, look around. Let me talk to you. And then everybody erupt. And when that audience erupts, everybody, Bruce and Vince and John Laurinaitis and everybody in the back will go, huh?
Well, because, the thing is, he is a WWE body. You know what I mean? He looks like somebody that the WWE would fucking love. That is impeccably in shape character. You know what I mean? He's a big cat. I don't know if he's like 6'5", but he ain't fucking 5'10". That's a WWE star. He looks like one. He's just a little long in the tooth, but he doesn't come off old. He doesn't play old. If it was me, I'd give him a Chris Jericho comes out with The Rock. Fucking right day one comes out and starts talking shit to Roman Reigns. Because he can spar with Paul Heyman. If there's one promo guy that can spar with Paul Heyman, who is the best promo in all of wrestling, it's fucking Eli Drake.
I'm sorry. I feel like that you guys plan for Eli Drake in this would be a terrible move as well, because I don't want to see Eli Drake as a face ever in any situation. I feel like Eli Drake should be a heel all the time, and that's where he's going to excel the most. If I was going to put him out there to get him over, I think I'd put him out there with Edge.
I hear you.
That would be good. Smart.
Well, fellas, I think we've exhausted this one. I was behind, so I watched this.
You haven't even got to the main event yet.
Well, that's what I want to say. Like, aren't we ready for a little fucking romance? We're not ready for war.
You guys have been wanting some TNA, so here we go. A wedding.
Yeah, I really wanted to. I really wanted to
ignore this whole fucking thing.
I really wanted to start the podcast before that main event even happened. So one thing I will say positive about the main event is Dexter Lumis is hilarious.
He's not supposed to be, though, right?
His mannerisms.
No, he is supposed to be hilarious. It's all meant to be funny.
And
they accomplished that.
Everything about it is not funny. I don't like any of the what does Jim Cornette call Johnny Same Face?
Johnny Same Face.
But I'm not into any of it. I'm not into the storyline. I'm not into this wedding. I'm not into anything. But I am into the facial expressions of Dexter Lumis and the way he acts is hilarious. But other than that, I got nothing good to say about this.
So WWE developed a star tonight with Dexter Lumis. This is the longest build that they've had in how long? What other storyline have they had that has ran for 8 months? And it's true. This started at the beginning of the year. This has been going on for 8 months. The man hasn't said a word, and then he says, "I do," and the crowd goes wild. Not mild, wild. They made a star out of 2 words.
It was the first
Huge
time
pop.
that the crowd had really popped at anything that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they did not boo the wedding to that point, right? Like I felt like if this was in Philly, the wedding is not going over, right? Like, and that's what made me think, like we were talking earlier about the fans, like were they paid or they seemed bought into this? And I will admit this went a lot better than I thought it was going to. I enjoyed it a lot more. There were some funny lines. My question is, how did Johnny Gargano become the one who gets the creative freedom? Because I feel like he's doing whatever he wants. It's as goofy as hell. How is that the guy who gets the creative freedom? Like Rich Quick was saying earlier, let some of the guys, let some of the guys be themselves.
Yeah, that's and you know, the big question I had is why couldn't this been at 9 o'clock? You could have done this wedding at 9 o'clock and had your world title in the main event. You just debuted this show. This is a brand new, this is 2.0, guys, from 2005. But what I'm thinking is why would you not have a real match as your main event? Why would our main event of this brand new show is going to be a fucking wedding?
A wedding.
What have we been talking about? Who's running shit now?
Well, I was just going to say, I'll jump right in. If I can, again, because we've talked so much about SummerSlam 91, the guy who booked SummerSlam 91 is back. And instead of the match made in heaven, we got this tonight on the 2.0 of NXT, the match made in NXT history.
I hate with a burning hot passion all romance lines, except when Randy Macho Man Savage was backstabbed by Sherry. And Miss Elizabeth came. And did she slap her? Did she push her?
She slapped her.
Slapped her? Yeah. That's it. There should have never been a romance line in fucking wrestling after that because they've been trying to do that. How many stupid fucking weddings have we went through? Although, wait. Another thing with fake sledgehammer guy when he married a drugged up Stephanie through the drive-through, that was hilarious. I don't know if it was cool. I don't know if I'd call like
wouldn't
I don't know if I'd say drugging up a woman and making her fucking marry you against her will is cool.
That's not what I meant. I just meant that the scene was a cool scene.
It was hilarious.
It was probably the most hilarious.
That's how Resner got married, by God.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, now we know how.
About it either.
But she stayed.
He drove an incompetent woman through a drive-through and got married.
But she stayed.
And nobody gonna tell him no different neither.
I wondered how on earth.
After she woke up, so that's the point.
He did outkick his coverage on that one. I was wondering how that fucking worked. But man, I fucking hate romance. Dude, romance angles destroyed Miro in the WWE. Who did Kane marry? Was it Lita?
Lita.
It was fucking stupid. Edge and Lita fake fucking under the fucking cover. Get that all the way out of my wrestling, please.
You can't forget Billy and Chuck.
Hey, I thought it was kind of hot.
That was probably the best one.
It was kind of hot. Married. Nah, they didn't. No, they swerved.
They were going to.
Yep.
They swerved. They swerved. I thought that was kind of hot.
3-minute warning.
Yep. But yeah, I hate weddings. I mean, just to put it like this, you know, I just watched I've been laid up for the last like 3 weeks. I've just done nothing but watch television. I went through Glow again, like Glow, the TV show, and they had a wedding. I'm like, WWE, you all are doing the main event on a Glow television show on Netflix in 2021.
Do this angle. Do it at 9 o'clock. Do it right smack in the middle of the show.
Yes.
Just put it up on Instagram. Take pictures. Put it on social media. Don't put it on my fucking TV show. It's fucking.
This
stupid.
went way long. They did bring back Austin Theory, right, in one of the promos, and
yeah, he was backstage.
Yeah.
Who is the guy with the jacket? You know, I know. We're all spotty on our NXT. I have no idea who this guy is who had the rings in his jacket.
Did
Wow.
the wedding? Did the wedding? I didn't watch this. Did the wedding
so
go through? Did they?
The other
did they
thing I
get
was
it?
going to say is like
Beth Phoenix married them.
right before the commercial break, all the guys are coming out, the participants of the wedding, and they were coming out like, the indie wrestlers do at a battle royal at an outlaw mud show. It was just like, kind of like, how do we do this? Are we even supposed, acting like we're happy to be here, but yet not wanting to be the first ones out there?
There's a huge mystery here that we have not talked about whatsoever. And that maybe I'm just not up on my NXT. Maybe there's a gimmick that fits this. And as dumb as the writers are, I'm sure that maybe there is. But I totally missed why there was a zombie referee behind William
Yeah,
Regal.
that's a thing I don't know about. Somebody's going to have to fill me in on that too.
What
Derek?
the fuck was that?
You know about the zombie
Derek.
referee?
Anybody, the zombie referee behind William
I
Regal.
should have Googled that. I did not think about it.
Anybody.
I am going to save that for our closing statement.
Do you know
I think
who it
our
is?
closing statements on this, I will address
Okay.
the zombie referee. That you sons of bitches.
Tell me.
Batista's got a movie coming out.
I don't care. There was a zombie.
Is it
referee.
another zombie Batista movie?
Well, it's still playing off of the zombie Batista movie. They're
That
still
was not
keeping
great.
that alive for
We're
some
the-
reason.
We're the
They
dumbest
didn't
smart
even
marks of
mention
all
that
time.
movie. They didn't even mention the movie.
That
Why the
movie
hell
was-
was referee dressed like a zombie, man?
It's because Bruce Pritchard runs
Bruce
NXT
Pritchard.
now.
So
It felt more like Tim and Eric were running things at that point.
God, that would be so awesome. Oh man, that would could you imagine?
Wrestling show.
Oh God, man, my dick can only get so hard. That would be so fucking good.
Jesus
Heard that.
Christ.
why'd you have to even
Those
get him
guys-
started?
The only thing those guys have ever done good for me is Tom
everything.
Tom Goes to the Mayor and their movie. Their $1 billion movie was hilarious. Other than that, I don't get their comedy at all.
Oh, it's the best.
I've never seen anything. I have no idea what you're
Oh,
all
it's
talking
so
about.
good.
You don't know about Tim and Eric and they're
Tim and
also
Eric, good job,
No,
man.
shut the fuck up. We don't need to talk about it. No, I haven't seen it. Talk about wrestling.
Okay, so
Well, okay, let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about this fucking wedding.
let's get past the wedding. The wedding is done. It happened. Dexter Lumis just got an axe or a hatchet in his vest. I mean,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here,
Yeah,
I'll
that
do it.
was
I'll do it.
dumb.
I'll do it. They said their vows. The best part was Indy Hartwell saying, everyone said Dexter's a freak. And I was like, you're damn right he's a freak. And I popped for that. I thought that was great. But he's my freak, she said, predictably. The Dexter had no vows other than to throw up a thumbs up, which got a huge pop from the audience. Something and then the minister got upset that Dexter's vows were not eloquent enough, and so Dexter slammed him, which gave us a huge pop again. And there was a point where somebody expressed, that they thought somebody shouldn't get married, and Odyssey Jones squashed him down and sat him down. So that's how they're going to get Odyssey Jones over, I guess. And then, so out of nowhere, Beth Phoenix, who has been the only one excited about this wedding throughout the entire buildup. She's the one who's like, we have plans to make, whatever, steps up, says she got a ministerial degree online at .com something or other, and she married the two, and they kissed the bride, and it was a beautiful wedding. Did I miss anything?
I'm still
Wait, Derek said
about
something
the
about a
zombie.
hatchet.
Yeah, they had the line in there, does
That was
anybody
it.
see need that these two people shall not be wed? And like everybody raised their hand, and
Yes.
he revealed that he had the
Yes.
hatchet that him and Johnny were throwing at the axe hole place. A hatchet and the ring
Imagine
showed
if
it
I
off.
go like this with my
So
coat
it was
and there's
like a little-
hatchet
And he
involved.
showed it to everybody, and they all put their hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of funny. That's
It
pretty
was
funny.
good. It was
It
well
was-
done. I mean,
It was
a skit.
hilarious.
That's
The whole
funny.
thing was funny, but it wasn't a main event.
it was 9:00 funny.
It was 9:00. I mean, really,
Curtain
it's
jerk.
not. It was indie funny. It wasn't
Ooh.
9:00 funny. It was independent show funny.
Mud show funny.
It was much show funny. It like honestly, I laughed. I was like, "Oh, this is really entertaining." But why the fuck are you doing this now?
And how did they expect any real wrestling fans to set through all of that to lead up to that small moment, which we all thought probably was well done, right? Like a nice way of setting the story with Rick Steiner at the end, Braun Breaker. Like, how come that couldn't have happened? How come that couldn't have happened right at the end? Like as Ciampa's leaving the ring, he meets Braun Breaker backstage. You know, like why wouldn't that have been a good way to end the show versus?
Or you could have just
expecting
put
us to stay tuned, right?
Or you could have just put Braun Breaker in a regular match and had him have a match like anyone else would when they showed up, and not put him in there with the champ, and not have him beat LA Knight, and not do all that stuff, because that was all fucking stupid. Yeah. But either way, we have been talking about NXT's brand new NXT 2.0, and obviously we're not really fans of the new look, the new vibe, the new anything. Derek, you have something to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, so speaking of the new look, we haven't even talked about the arena or the way it's laid out or nothing. Like, and we've talked about Bruce Pritchard, like, completely being in control of everything. When they said, hey, we're going to have studio wrestling for WWE, did he just look at Vince and go, man, Hogan wrestled in a studio one time? Was a WT? Oh no, that was a movie called No Holds Barred. Well, let's make it look just like that.
Oh wow! Who was it that said they needed Ico Pro mats up?
Yeah, exactly.
But
man, it was.
If you go and watch that movie or pull up clips from besides the 8-sided ring that they have in that movie, the studio feel is exactly like that.
Now, that's the one thing that everybody bitched about old school NXT was it was not lit well and it looked a little low rent. Do we think that this is a upgrade from that?
Oh, no. I thought this looked like Raw or SmackDown Junior.
Say it again.
I thought it looked like Raw or SmackDown Junior.
Is that what it should look like?
Well, that's not for me to say.
Okay. Because
did it look like? That's what I thought it looked like.
Well, because I'm an NWA mark from the beginning, because that's where my love of wrestling was fostered. I like the fact that it looks dark. I like that Ring of Honor looks dark and a little seedy. I like that.
That was different, right? Like that's what makes it different. It looks different.
Yeah. Now the ramp and shit, all that looks great. The new entrance and all that stuff looks good.
I didn't have a problem with the arena at all. I thought the arena looked pretty cool.
Is this still Full Sail?
I don't know. I had that question too.
Is this not Full Sail anymore?
Where are they at, Derek?
They're still at the Capitol Wrestling Center, but that's not Full Sail Arena, I don't believe anymore.
Okay.
I think it's not far down the road, but because they're still in that same vicinity. But I don't think they have a deal with Full Sail anymore.
So Dark and NXT both going to be in Orlando now.
Dude, Florida is the capital of everything, you all. Have y'all not figured this out? All things, economy and wrestling and everything is Florida. We're all going to end up, Florida is going to be where the new capital is going to be.
Yeah, if we don't burn it down first.
House of Kayfabe lives in Florida.
That's right. House of Kayfabe Studios is located in Florida, in the wrestling capital of the world. So we are done talking about NXT tonight. We've went through everything and we've complained a lot. And if you don't like to hear people complain, I'm not sure why you're listening to the show anyway. But we're sorry that we did that to you. I guess the only thing that's left for me to say is go Braun Breaker and the Creed brothers.
Slammy Slammerson.
Yeah, coming up next. And don't forget that we are waiting on the return of Fanny McFlanagan. It's going to be great.
What the